Good morning. I'm not going to do my full video from here because I'm walking and I have to have my notes, but we're getting to the site. It's back to being cool in the morning, not cold but cool. It's in the low 30s, but I don't know if it's 35 or 34 or 33, but it's cold. Got my jacket and my hat on, but I'm okay. If you got little kids or grandkids, bring them to the state park. They have rides. You want to get in a swing, climb on these, whatever they're called. I'm walking on some kind of a reclaimed tire or something. It's rubberized, so it's designed for the little ones to fall on. And they have pavilions here if you want to have a birthday party. A couple of them here, you got to reserve them. And they're not too much. This is the public area. So you can come out here and set up on a table. Let's see, what do we got? Well, we have a board here with information, a map. There's extra maps here that you can pull out if you didn't get one from the visitor center. There's a couple of deer in the camp right now. Hello, everybody. Well, it's a little later than I recorded my opening, but it's still cold. So I'm totally buttoned up, got my gloves on. It's overcast, not a whole lot. You can see a little bit behind me, but it's thicker in front of me, and I haven't seen the sun all day, and that's why it's not warming up. Tomorrow's moving day, so I hope it warms up a little bit, so I don't have to pack in the cold and then go reset up in the cold. I decided not to go across the river because there's no power, and I get all my heat and everything from electricity, so I'm going to another park not too far from here. So I've got electricity for 3 days. Got to be out 3 days, then I'm coming back. And then I don't know after that. I'm only here for a week, then when I come back, waiting for this next park to open. But I just drove by there yesterday and there's nobody there, no information, and the phone number is disconnected. They're going to have to restart it all up again. The guy that's been doing this, managing it for years, retired, so I don't know what they're doing. They may or may not have anybody. I don't know. In any case, we'll have to play it by ear. I can come right back here. I can stay another week if I need to. I'm looking forward to springtime. We had some warm weather for the last couple of weeks, and I'm starting to see some buds coming out. Those are going to die off again during this week because it's staying 30s and 40s for the week for highs. So anyhow, enough of the weather report. If we're having issues, emotional issues of any kind, trust God. We get the emotions from Him. What do you mean? Well, we're told we're made in His image. I'll get to that in a bit. But that's one of the things. We saw Jesus get angry with the money changers. That's an emotion. We saw Him cry for the people of Jerusalem when He came into town. That's an emotion. Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. God has emotion. That's where we get it from. So if we're having problems controlling ours, and our heart is deceitfully wicked, we need to trust Him. Now, the Spirit can control our emotions, but we got to keep from limiting what the Spirit can do. You can grieve or you can quench the Spirit, so it can't help you. So anyhow, we get our emotions from God, and we're going to focus on the good ones anyway. I know that He did get mad at the money changers, but we shouldn't practice that. But it is possible if we need to. Okay. The definitions of emotions. It's a plural noun. A natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. So it definitely affects us by just what's going on around us. And the world is getting harder and harder to look at and to get anything positive out of. So you're going to have to turn inward to get your control for your emotions, or to close friends and relatives, because you're not going to be able to get it from the world. And they go deeper than our intellectual thoughts. You can't just think your way happy. You can pretend to be, and a lot of people do. They pretend to be in control of their emotions, but inside they're all tied up in knots, and you don't see it until they get home and collapse, because it takes a lot of energy. Emotions take energy. They can either inspire it through the love and joy part of it, or they can tear it down through the fear and anger part of it. So we get our soul from God. It's what makes us different from the animals. So go to Him when you're having emotional problems. Look to Jesus. So we're going to look at quickly, just as I pointed out earlier, Genesis 1:27. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God created He him. Male and female created He them. This is King James. The wording sometimes is harder to do. I prefer my New King James, but it depends on where I'm referencing. I mix them up all the time, and you're still getting a good message. The message is there. It's just harder to read sometimes. So what kind of emotions do we have? Well, I've talked about them. We have fear. Does God really have fear? Well, we do, so He must. What's He afraid of? Losing people. He doesn't want one to fail. So that would be a fear. Anger. We got to see Jesus do that. Disgust. He wrote about that when He wrote to the churches, the lukewarm church. You make me sick. I want to spew you out of my mouth. Coming from God. Sadness. We've seen Jesus cry. Happiness, surprise, joy, and excitement. We've seen those as our good examples out of the New Testament Bible. And if you look at some of the Old Testament, you can find good examples for that. We have our love chapter in the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13. Yeah, that's it. I was going to try to quote the verse, but I can't remember it well enough to do that, and I didn't write it down. Okay, well, the most common one in here is love. And it's so common that the Greeks actually have 7 definitions of love. Now, what we're looking for Christians and for everybody else is agape love. And there's eros and philia, and, there's a bunch of them. The bottom line is we want agape love, which is empathetic, universal love. Jesus said, if you've got that, that's the number 1 commandment, to love God. If you've got that, you've got all the rest. Love God and your neighbor, and you don't need to pay any attention to the rest, because you will follow all the rest naturally. All the other laws and commandments. Okay, we're going to look at 1 John 4:8. He that loveth not, again, King James, sorry. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So if you see somebody who's angry, hateful, we're seeing that over there now in Israel with the Hamas. They committed an atrocities. That doesn't have love of God in them. That tells me that their God is a God of hatred, God of cruelty. That's not my God. That's their God. And the only God that I know of, or one that thinks he's a God, would be the devil, Satan. So I think their God is Satan from from them. Now, there may be Muslims that have a better God, but their God for the Hamas people is Satan. Okay. And like I said, the heart is the core of it. It seems to be the center for emotions. Turn Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? If we go, I feel like I should do this, you better check in with the boss, because your feelings aren't a good way. Now, if you're in tune with the Spirit and with God and doing what you're supposed to do, you will feel good. But feeling like you should do something is putting the horse before the cart. And sometimes we can feel sadness as well as joy in our life with God. But that's the Spirit working in us to bring these emotions in. Sadness is okay up to a point. The friends of Lazarus, were sad that he died, but Jesus, he did cry, but he didn't cry because of Lazarus. He cried because of his friends crying. So there's sometimes reason for sadness. I have one of our hosts coming down here. I think I may stop and talk to him. So let me stop my video. Okay, I have to talk to the workers here. It's where you find out what's going on. Getting back to our study, Jesus cried. Well, we have the account in Matthew 23:37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered you, thy children, together, even as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you would not. Jerusalem just wouldn't listen, killed the prophets. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Well, they're going to get scattered. This is Jesus talking during his time, so we know they're going to get scattered. They don't know anything about it yet. Everything's going the way they think it should. Wrong. And 39, for I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till you shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. That's his commandment to them. If you want to see me back here in Jerusalem, you better call on me. He's still waiting. It's been 2,000 years. So it's time for grace to be over and the tribulation to start. That's why we got to be out of here. So, God also feels joy. We're going to look at that one. Nehemiah 10. Go and enjoy choice food and sweet drinks, and send some of those who have nothing prepared. This day is holy to the Lord. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is our strength. And make a good song too. You see where these songwriters get all this stuff from. I didn't give the verse on that, but it's in Nehemiah. I may look it up and put it in later down below like I normally do. The bottom line is, we get everything that we need from God. We don't need anything else. All of our emotions, all of our wisdom. Solomon prayed for wisdom and got it. We get our knowledge from him, especially of the Bible and how God is and what we should do and how to behave. All that comes from him, and it comes from the Bible. That's why we have to make sure we take the time to learn about God, and then we got to let him do what he needs to do. He's not training us up to send us on our way. Go on, go out there and mingle with the people. He's training us up so that he can be with us while we're doing that. We're not supposed to go anywhere without God. As a Christian, we've got God in us now. We can't go anywhere. So if you go into a bar to drink, you're taking God with you. Okay? Now, I don't have anything wrong with going into a bar and drink if it's just light social stuff. Typically, you're not going to find that in most places. Now, there are restaurants with bars in them and things like that. Those are better. Those are different. But if it's just a dive bar and there's nothing but sleazy people in there, maybe you shouldn't be there unless you're there with a bunch of other Christians to evangelize. And you better have someone big with you. But I wouldn't really spend a whole lot of time there because these people have already messed up their minds with alcohol. You're not going to have a whole lot of influence. Catch them before they go there. Pass out tracts on the outside. Get them to put them in their pocket. Tell them just to throw it in your pocket and look at it later. Don't have to look at it now. Because if they look at it now, then they're just going to throw it on the ground. Got to be smart with these people. We are to get the message out. That's what we're doing. And we're going to be out of here soon. I don't know when, but I'm thinking that this year has got to be it. We've been waiting all this time. Now, I've been thinking that it's fall. I think Dr. Barry Oth thinks that it's springtime. He's not giving us a date. He's learned not to do that. I think that our other predictor, Brenda Weltner, also picks the fall. I'm thinking that since the Revelation 12 sign will have its 7-year anniversary this fall, that's why I'm picking it. I would love to get out in March. I'd love to get out today, now. At least let me get this video up. But we got to wait until the time is right. And my guess is that we're going to be looking, going, oh my God, you got to get us out of here. Look at what's going on. I think we're going to be like that. It's not going to be, oh, it's so nice and quiet today. This would be a good time to get. No, it's not going to be like that. That's why it probably won't be today, because it's nice and calm and peaceful. It is cold. I saw the sun for 30 seconds, and it's back behind the clouds again. If the sun would come out, it would warm up. The sun always makes things nice, no matter how you spell it. All right. Emotions come from God. Let Him help you deal with them. And depression is an emotion. If you're in depression for whatever sake, whatever reason, turn it over to God. Say, God, I don't want this. I want your joy. And pray about it. And then try to, as best as possible, be sin-free. We can't be 100%. The more you stay sin-free, the more the Spirit can help you. All right. So, the joy of the Lord is our strength. And you need strength to put on the armor of God, which we're going to need here soon. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Okay. The deer are walking off into the trees. Just the time it took me to switch views, they're walking off into the woods. I can see them moving, but you probably can't. Oh well. There were deer there, just behind those benches that are there. That's where they're at now. They've stopped. They're looking at me. Swing around this way. The river's on the other side of these trees. The tall ones, there's another set on the other side. One diehard's going to go out and go for a hike. But the rest of the park is empty in this side. This is the public side. There are camping areas and trailer areas. You just have to go for those. So I'll give you a better view of what this looks like. Come on out. It's cold this morning, but it'd be warm enough this afternoon. It'd be in the 50s. And we have eagles in here. There's a pair that is in the direction where the deer were. There are some snakes, but you very seldom see them, especially in the winter. So, by the time you see this, I won't be here, so I don't mind letting you see where I'm at. But I do hate sharing this site because it is a really good site, and I don't want it to get overloaded. There's the play area. And the other pavilion, so plenty to do here. And this is typical of all the state parks. Okay, well, I'm going to head back. I'm going to come back out here in probably about 3 hours and record my main message where it's a little warmer. Blessings.